Let me get this gold first. Do you really want my full review? I feel like here's the I feel like I could give a really good review and an all-encompassing review, but I don't think I'd be saying anything that you haven't heard 1,000 times, right? Because like there's just not enough stuff in the game, and there's not enough like varied experiences in the game because it's so young. I mean, technically it's not young, but like that, like I would probably be saying the same thing you've heard 1,000 times from 1,000 other streamers, right? I'll give you my opinion then. You value my opinion? Oh shucks, dude. Wait, this guy values my opinion. Yo, oh my god, stop. All right, let me give you guys my review of Last Epoch, okay? While I run some monoliths. I'm gonna make a lot of comparisons, right? Obviously to PoE and PoE 2. Maybe not PoE 2, because PoE 2 is trying to branch out and revolutionize shit. Last Epoch is definitely an ARPG that's gonna end up more like Diablo 3 and Diablo 4. You go into it thinking it's gonna be like an industry leader like PoE in terms of just like not being a shit game like Diablo has become. But you know, it takes like the best parts of Diablo 3, Diablo 4, and it kind of innovates on some PoE things too. It's definitely, if you're an ARPG enjoyer, or even if you're a new ARPG enjoyer, right, you probably would recommend someone play Last Epoch over even maybe PoE 1 or PoE 2 or Diablo 4, right? The first thing you'll notice about this game is that it is so easy to get into. Like, if you put your grandma in front of the controls and you're like, hey grandma, play this game, just so they just pick a class, doesn't matter what they pick. They don't have, like, you know how Sentinel's OP right now? If they pick Sentinel, they're gonna have a good time. What's like quote unquote the worst class? I don't even know. I don't even know, because it's like the game is like, you know, accessible, right? So you can, the best class, worst class, someone who's never played an RPG is gonna have an okay time. I think it does introduce things to you in terms of game mechanics and all that stuff in a very smooth way. Like the pacing is good. If you want the tooltip stuff, if you want all the hints and stuff, it's there for you. But if you want to just go in blind and not read anything, you're not going to suffer for that, right? Whereas in PoE 1, you won't even be able to get past that red force field if you don't like read something. You know what I mean? Now, the one thing that hits you early though is the loot. Last Epoch has a serious loot problem right now. It's like really annoying and kind of overwhelming, I guess. That's like the one bad thing about it, besides like the bugs. So in terms of like game systems, now that we have 1.2, the mechanics of your character and like when you push a button, it feels good, okay? It feels good. I'll say it doesn't feel as good as maybe PoE 1. When I say something feels good to push, I don't mean like you feel like you're doing a lot of damage, okay? What I mean is when you press the space bar in WoW, you jump. And the feeling of that jump is like no other game can recreate that feeling. If you know, you know, right? When you press a button in WoW, and you press a few buttons in a row in WoW, those buttons go off right away. And the feedback is like instant. And you know exactly like that you are handling the character, right? You jump around, you move around. It's so one-to-one in World of Warcraft. That's what I mean when a button feels good to press, okay? At least Last Epoch, for like, you know, how janky it used to be, in this patch, like my buttons feel really good to press. Like when I dash, when I evade, when I press all my buttons, it kind of makes sense, right? It's not like you press a button and there's like some kind of weird animation or like jank delay or anything like that. Like the buttons are pretty good, okay? They're like almost perfect, and they make sense in terms of when you press the button, it does what you expect it to do. So that's a great thing about Last Epoch. How long ago did you play Last Epoch? 1936? No, I spent that year banging your mom. All right, while you were in the basement eating chicken nuggies. So yeah, so mechanically, like all the buttons and all the animations feel better. Like you used to slide around a lot and have a lot of jank in the animations, but 1.2 has fixed a ton of stuff. All the skills that you've chosen to use feel like they have some purpose. You know, like everything comes together really well. In terms of like builds, like tying back to how easy the game is or easily accessible it is, you can go in blind. I feel like you can, if you use like a build guide, you'll actually be overpowered. But if you don't use a build guide, you can like experiment and you're gonna feel totally fine. Another thing is like all the combat is pretty well telegraphed. I don't think there's been a single boss, besides maybe like the Aberoth, like the final endgame boss, where like you're fighting and you don't know that a move is coming out. Even the basic enemies, when they like channel something, like you got the spear guy with the spear hand, the fire guy, he's like, ah! He drills you, or like the siege guy, like it puts a big circle, like everything is like well telegraphed. Like there's not a lot of bullshit well, there is. Okay, let me talk about combat a little bit, okay? Right now, the things that make combat a little bit annoying is there is a little bit of lag. When things spawn in or when too many items drop, There is a little bit of a stutter and like a lag. And before this patch that I just downloaded, after like 2 or 3 hours, things start to get more stuttery. But that's more of like performance and like coding, right? That's not like obviously what's like intended in the game. So combat is pretty smooth. The look of combat is good. Like turning damage numbers off has helped with the visual clarity. You can adjust like the size of these loot tiles. You can, while you're playing, you can get more visual clarity there too, which is really nice. Really adjustable HUD while you're fighting. One thing I wish they'd improve during combat is this is tied to loot filters. The loot filter makes it so that you can hide stuff, but the beam of the item rarity will still be there. So there will be a purple beam, there will be a yellow beam, and when those stack up with too much loot, it makes the map look like really like messy, and the combat feels weird when there's a bunch of like lights and colors flashing everywhere, right? That's kind of weird. I also wish that they would kind of give you an ability for the pet to loot certain amounts of gold, because the too much gold on the ground. Once again, this could all be tied to Circle of Fortune, dropping too much stuff. Because I'll get into the loot problem later on. Okay, good news is that the combat is not messy because of combat. It's not messy because of your skills. It's not messy because of the monster abilities, and it's not messy because of the monster density either. Even though the density is very good, it's just something all about like the loot filter and the gold piles and the random like things showing up all the time in terms of like colors and shit on the ground. Okay, that's it. Visually, besides just like combat feel, visually some of the models are outdated. Like some of the enemies, you can tell that it looks like some, you know, like if you're using like some kind of engine where like you purchase assets or something that are like old, but it's not bad. Okay, old is not the same as bad. Sometimes someone will come and be like, this game looks like shit, and then to me I'm like, the game doesn't look like shit. The game looks like okay, it looks fine. Let me show you what I mean by like sometimes it looks beautiful. Watch this. If I change zones, watch this. Oh, or like hold on. Oh, whoa. Wait, hold on. Oh, look at that, dude. Like the focus comes in, little J.J. Abrams lens flare. Whoa, right? Like some parts of the game look real good. That's why I think about combat. Combat overall, when I used to play this game, I played a bunch of builds in this game, and they all felt real good. Okay, not as one-to-one as PoE1 or like a game like World of Warcraft, which is like I think the benchmark for feel good responsiveness. But it's getting there. It's good enough, and you'll probably won't ever be annoyed by it unless it's a bug or something. Okay, that's good. I think the biggest part of the game to talk about is like the loot. Holy, there is in Circle of Fortune. There's too much loot. So the loot in this game, when you're playing through it, you will always feel good like just putting on something that sounds good. Most of the stuff is really easy to understand. You kind of like understand how it ties into the character. Usually there's no weird text where you're like, what the hell? Like, what is that, right? You have good tool tips and stuff, good advanced tool tips. And it feels good to be able to, at any level, you find something that looks good, you put it on, and you can, like, for the most part, you can wear that thing. Like, you find it unique, and it's like, this is going to give me way more of my damage type, and you're excited. You put that on, you're going to have no problems, okay? When you put on a piece of loot, none of your other loot becomes unequipped. You don't have to worry about stats, okay? I'm referencing another game right now, but when you put on any piece of loot that you find exciting, that you found on the ground, none of your shit turns red and gets unequipped. None of your skills deactivate. None of this, like, you don't have to worry about stat requirements. What you will have to worry about most of the time is you have to look, okay, what about my resist, right? You might have to do some tweaking resist, but the game gives you a lot of ways to handle this, okay? There's almost always an instant way for you to handle your problems. For example, right now in the game, if I'm lacking res, right, I'm just going to change out my idle. It's fine. I change out my idle, resist is instantly fixed, right, from this, like, my uncapped res here. If I'm lacking a stat that I lost, guess what? I can, if I'm losing, like, a specific res or I have open slots in my gear, I can craft on my gear. There's even, like, maps now that can switch around your stats if you change out gear and it has, like, that's crazy elevated, but it's got the wrong stat. You can change out the stat. You can like reroll stuff. Like you're like, I have a problem, and I go fix it right now, right? To the point where like earlier yesterday, I had a problem where I equipped a very Poggy's item. Okay, it's called a Nihiles. Yeah. Where is it? I found this amulet, which is a rare drop off endgame boss. And what happened is 3 of my res became uncapped because I was wearing a bone amulet before. So you know what I did? You know what I did to fix that? I went to a vendor in town. And I said, hey, vendor, give me a blessing that has all res. And it fixed everything immediately, right? Now, what did I have to give up? I had to give up like something that was like good, but not like nothing I was like FOMOing over, okay? This game gives you almost too many options to like fix everything, okay? So that's really nice. Uniques are pretty exciting. I do wish there was more like, when I look at my gear, most of my stuff is a stat stick. Like the one thing I'd say is should be focused on later on is less stat stick gear, I guess. Because like if I look at my gear, right? Even if it looks like it has something cool, it's just like a stat stick. Like this looks like it has some cool stuff, apply doom and like stuff like that. But these are just like stats do more damage. Like leech stats. And then when you look at the way you like make the gear better, they're all just like stat sticks, which is it's good. It makes you feel strong and you're really excited about upgrading those or getting those. But still, it's a stat stick. So long term, I like to see more stuff like the crab ring, or what's another cool item that does something unique, like the harbor helmet that changes your minion, or like cool stuff like that. Mage blood. I just want to see mage blood in the game. Hey, I have an insane belt coming, by the way. My belt interacts with shrines. It's like the goal, but for last Epoch. It's coming, boys. It's gonna be insane. Crafting is probably my favorite crafting. I don't know if it's the best crafting, but it's my favorite crafting in any ARPG. You can craft at any time. There's no FOMO in crafting. You're never giving up, like, as long as you play like Circle of Fortune or whatever, right? It's like you're never giving up anything to stop and craft. And you can do it from level like 2 or whatever. When the first time you find your first shard, you can start crafting. And they give you so many mats and stuff. You just craft on what you want. Like the base gear, to get all the base gear is insane. It's so good. I mean, it has some depth later on, but for the most part, if you get to the end game, you kind of know how all the crafting works and all the like like 90% of the avenues of crafting. And this game is really soul self unfriendly, so it's nuts. Now, is it too easy? That's a current theme with everything. I don't know if that's good or, I mean, sometimes it's bad, but everything in this game is a little bit too easy, which could be good or bad. Like the crafting is too easy. By the time you get to endgame, if you want 4 mods that you want on a rare, you have those 4 mods. And not only do you have those 4 mods, you have them maxed out. And I know people are going to say, well, you could get elevated. You can get seal. It's like, dude, you don't need any of that to like beat the game, right? Like you don't need like the omega perfect, gear to like just do whatever you want in the game. With this patch, you'll even have 1 LP of anything you want because you're guaranteed an extra affix on your legendary gear as well. So it's like, not only do you have the perfect rare gear and elevated gear, you have basically 1 LP of whatever unique you want. So that also makes it really easy. The idle system is insane. The customization here is really good with like the new Weaver stuff. Look how many crafting that's. I got 13,000 shards, the runes, stash. Oh, I can tell. Dude, this game. The sorting. You have the best. You actually do have the best stash management of any game. Right? Not only are the stash tabs and storage free, okay, it's completely free. Obviously, the game is buy-in. It's $35. So it's a buy-to-play game. But after that, the stashes are free. And you get like right now, they're still working on the affinities a little bit. It doesn't have full affinity, like perfect support, but it has pretty good support. Like you can put all your uniques. You can split with LP. You can split your elevated items, your rares, your blues, your set items. Just looking at this, the potential for tab priority system and like the coloring and the rename, it's real good right now. I think it's the best in any RPG. And in terms of like, they should probably charge for some more stuff, honestly, like some more quality of life stuff, because $60 for 4 tabs is criminal, dude. How do you feel about them doing support packs when the game is pay to play? I don't care. Like it's like supporting the development of the game, and it doesn't affect the game in any way, right? It's just cosmetics. So like for me, a supporter pack when the game is pay to play is the same thing as selling like a sword skin or something. It's the same thing. It's so cheap, dude. It's like a great ethical way for you to support the devs. But like $60 for 4 supporter packs, bruh, how can they afford that, man? They are nutty, dude. They're actually nutty. So I have no problem with that. I don't think anyone's gonna have a problem with monetization, right? Like if you like the game, let's say it takes you like a few hours to get to the monos if you're a first time player. Let's say it takes you 10 hours, right? Because you're doing everything for the first time. And then you'll probably get at least like a week's of enjoyment out of it. Like for $35, I think it's absolutely worth the buy. And then the fact that everything in the game is free. There's actually no pay to quality of life right now. Like the pets don't do anything. The skins obviously don't do anything. You can't buy anything that affects your character for real life money. So the studio, the devs are just like so ethical right now. Crazy, dude. Okay, let's talk about the league mechanics that they've added. So that's a big part, right? Ongoing updates for a live service game. Let's review that. I actually don't think the timing is that good currently. I know Judd, as of most recent interview, he said he wants to do 3 months, and then he added on, hey, if it takes 4 months, it takes 4 months. If it takes longer, it takes longer, right? But their goal is 3-month leagues, just like other games. However, historically, they haven't been doing that great on adding content, right? Just saying it like it is, okay? I bought this game 4 times because before the Steam thing, they had a standalone thing, and I like lost my key. I bought it a couple times on standalone. I bought it a couple times on Steam. I bought this game for a lot of my friends too. But I don't really mind about that. I'm just saying that like it's been a long time for that to happen, right? The game isn't actually like this newly released game. The game is actually for the Steam release. I don't know how many years it was, but for how long it's been, we've had 2 major influential patches. Because the 1.0, although good, it didn't have like league mechanic, which is if you played the early access stuff, it was kind of the same game, right? With like, you know, more polished, but some updates. But then it was like you had the Nemesis League, and Nemesis on its own, like if you go to a map, you can have a chest, you can have Loot Lizard, you can have Nemesis, you can have Rogue Mage, and then now you can have Weaver stuff, right? That's like, I mean, the shrines, yeah, I guess shrines count. You have some shrines like that. That's your content right now. But honestly, in terms of league content, it's just the Nemesis dude, and it's Weavers, right? So for how long the game's been out, those 2 major mechanics, although amazing and fun now, you really need them to pump out more content on a regular cycle, or else it will get stale and boring, right? I mean, Weaver is pretty cool, the Weaver skill tree and all that, but even that, it's like you need more stuff to chase after, because like in other games, right, if you choose to do something, you can like juice it to the gills, and you can actually do a different strat from someone else, right? You can like do your own thing. In this game, everyone's kind of doing the same thing. Like every mechanic they release is really good, but they should probably release more mechanics. And if they're all in the same quality of Nemesis and Weaver, then we're in for a good time, man. You've been listening positive for 30 minutes. Well, I mean, like the game is good, right? Like my opinion overall is that the game is worth $35. You should, if you want to play an ARPG, you should try it. You should buy it and try it for sure. It's just there's a lot of positives to talk about, man. Like this game is good. It's just like it's a fun game. So I want to be thorough, right? Okay. You want to know what the negatives of this game are? All right, let's talk about the negatives. So the game has a loot issue right now, starting from probably level like 5 or level 10. I don't know. It starts real early, and that is you have no idea what is like there are so many things dropping. You're just kind of like, what the frick? Like, why is so much loot dropping from like every part of the game? You kill a boss, there's like loot drop. There's like you kill a rare, loot drop. You open a chest, it's like loot drop. Loot Lizard comes out during the campaigns, like ton of stuff, right? Now, luckily, if that loot is a commodity, we do have an auto pickup where you click on one thing and it vacuums everything out, right? Some quality of life there. But it still like sometimes covers the entire screen. So like if you get a shrine that has like idols, you start with 4 idol slots, but you'll click a shrine and like 20 idols will like pop out. You'll be like, what the frick? They kind of address the you can loot from further range now, and your character stops after looting the thing. It's still not, it does not feel good to click on an item, guys. It doesn't like pick up when you click on it. I don't know what it is, but the items, like, they feel like they're like slippery, covered in lube, okay? So it's better than 1.1 or before, but picking up items and looting still doesn't feel that good in this game. Everything feels covered in lube sometimes. But for all though, the major issue, which is the quantity of loot, you're gonna need a loot filter almost right away. But even with the loot filters that someone else that knows the game very well and has tested out, even with those loot filters, it's still too much stuff. So now you have this problem where if you're like a newer player, you have to go, okay, I don't know what my build is in the end game. I don't know what shards I need. I don't know I don't know what gear I need in the end game. But now there's all these things, right, that are dropping. So what do I do about that? And that's kind of like, you're like, oh man. And then it's like, you're gonna not only need to know your build, but like, what if you want to swap builds later? What if you want to play a second character? What if you want to like switch up like to a variant of your build that needs different like shards or items? So like you have to like preemptively just like know some stuff, I guess, which is not good. So I mean, maybe loot filters are like a symptom. I don't know. This is more of a maybe a more hot or dumb take, but like I think loot filter problems are a symptom of like just like weird itemization in RPGs. Maybe in general, like maybe it's the game's problem. It's the genre's problem of how they handle itemization, where you need a loot filter. I don't know, but needing that early and needing to be like preemptive with that kind of with knowing stuff when you couldn't possibly know that. Right now, a problem I have is I want to hide all the bad uniques without 1 LP or more, but I don't know right now if I have a good enough handle on all the uniques to know if I should hide it or not. And then also going into the ease of the game gives you way too much stuff to like finish your character, right? Like if you want, now with like we have imprinting, we have like the COF stuff. If you want something, you can just go get that stuff. I know that's good. Target farming is exciting, but I feel like the jump of your character is too fast. It's like you get to a level where you can like complete the whole game, and then after that, to get to like the really aspirational gear, it's like way too big of a jump. So like everything's like so front loaded in last Epoch that you're kind of like, damn, I already have like insane gear. Basically, to give a comparison, to get to like when you first put on your mage blood, all right, if that takes you 2 weeks in PoE to get your all your core gear and your mage blood equipped, that point in last Epoch is 1 day. So like, I mean, like 1 or 2 days for probably most people. It's a little bit too fast. So I think, you know, you might get like dopamine overload, and then grinding the next upgrades where you try to get like 2 LP and like the more aspirational stuff is kind of a super grind, right? It's too big of a jump from what you were doing before. I think they need to cut it back. Now, I talked about this yesterday. Oh, let me talk about another thing. Right now, there's a problem with like the new systems completely overshadowing the old ones. Nowadays, when I see stuff like this, or I see the blue thing, the memory thing, they don't really matter too much. You know why? Because when's the last time you looked at the reward? Ask yourself this. When's the last time you cared about the reward that was shown on the monolith? You used to look at that. You used to do that in the previous versions of the game, right? Now you don't care, because the stuff that you're setting up and like the way you're power farming is so good that you don't give a shit about like really what the reward is. Unless it's like something really good like this. Like if you see like a unique tile, but that's new league mechanics, so that doesn't count. So the old systems have been kind of like overshadowed by the new ones, and they're not really working too well together, right? Because the new target farms are too strong. The end game, get over the end game systems. I think the end game is a lot better, right? I used to get really bored of monoliths. I used to get really frustrated. A huge pain point was arenas and certain else, but they give you a lot of control. The lenses are really good now. Arenas are also really fun. I love arenas now. I don't mind arenas at all, where before, if the arena was blocking the further nodes, you'd be pissed off, right? Because you have to run it. Now it's like, no problem. They've made this a lot. Now, there's still a problem of like in some of the regular ones to rush, right? You pretty much skip everything to rush the objective in the early game. There's still a lot. I'd say it's still like a lot of grind to get to empowered and then like get that up. But for how rewarding it is, I guess it's fair. Oh, we can talk about alt. If you make a second character, the alt catch-up is really good. They did implement quality of life stuff for catching up zones. Okay, it seems like they're adding maybe they're adding too much quality of life. I don't know. But it seems like they're just like every single patch, they just add more and more quality of life to everything, you know, or they're trying, or at least they're conscious of it. Mike, the guy with the beard, he does live streams of himself playing the game and streaming the game for a couple hours every week, right? That's insane. What other dev does that? What I've noticed during those live streams that was kind of cool is that whenever you bring up something to him that you think is important for the community, right? Like some issue, some bug, whatever, he almost always goes, oh yeah, we know about that. Yeah, it's just like, that's one thing where like we're debating that, or like we know about that and we're thinking about how to implement that the best without like cucking ourselves. When you watch him playing the game, he kind of like, they kind of know about all the stuff, man. You can talk to Mike on Discord. He responds to Discord tags too. Oh shit. Yeah, they're pretty community focused, man. Having a last Epoch dev do that every week and take questions and like actually like be a streamer at the same time is pretty cool, right? Yeah, they're doing good. They're doing a good works, dude. Carve confirmed that they don't do any mid-league nerfs unless it's like an actual bug, right? Like he said that like if a projectile is just shooting out like 20 projectiles as a bug, we're gonna nerf that. But if a projectile is just doing 100 times more damage than the next best build, because that's how we coded it, we will not nerf that, right? He was like, people feel it's really demotivating when your build gets nerfed, so they're never gonna do that. So hey, we got confirmation that no mid-league nerfs. Oh, other problems are like the bugs are make you feel real jank, okay? There are certain bugs that show up a little bit too much and like take you out of the game. For right now, there's a targeting bug on a lot of skills. There is a tooltip bug where shit will just like show up on your screen and stay there. There's minimap icon bugs. There's like some UI bugs. It's like these things that happen. You're like, it feels so annoying, right? So hopefully they can get rid of some of those. Okay, what else do I need to talk about, guys? I've talked about most of the stuff. Is there anything else? Where's the guy that wanted to hear my review? Is there anything else I missed that other people talk about? Well, what I miss giving my thoughts on? He left. He did not leave 5 hours ago, bro. He did not. I saw him like half an hour ago, bro. Oh, dungeons. Oh yeah, okay. I think dungeons need an update, right? Just like the monolith, the early monolith stuff, or like the cool events. Like, you should be excited, I think, when you drop a monolith kit. Like, if I drop a Harbinger's Eye, I get really excited, you know, because like that's rewarding and a fun content. If I find a tower or a beacon or like the memory blue monolith on the Echo Web or a dungeon key, it's not that exciting. I mean, the Temporal Sanctum is necessary because you have to constantly go back there to try to craft your gear. But if you don't need, like, most of the time it's gonna be the helmet, right? The rock helmet from the forest. If you don't need that good helmet from Lightless Harbor, which is like a 50-50 drop chance, it goes from like 48 to 50% drop chance based on your difficulty. Like, and you're gonna get that in like a couple tries, right? Then you're done with that dungeon forever. The gold, from what I've seen, the gold use is not that good. I mean, maybe it'll be worth after you get all your stash tabs, but getting all your stash tabs bought out will probably be, you'll be probably like high level 90 or 100 or something. So then it won't really matter. So I think dungeons are a little bit outdated. They need to do something about that. They are cool as a skip. I didn't talk about quality of life in skipping campaign. This game does reward your player knowledge, which is one of the ways you progress in an ARPG, right? League to league, the things you learn from the league before will help you in the future. And this game does a good job with the leveling. Like, you can just skip and instantly skip from act 5 to 9, and then like, you know, just choose your skill points and your idle slots, side quests that you want to do. And if you know that that's a thing and you know how to do that dungeon, you can just skip the campaign, right? It rewards you for knowledge and having a stronger kicker earlier if you know what you're doing. They're fun though. I like the mechanics in them. I really like how, like, you know, like one of them has you gamble for exalted item guarantees from the vendor. One of them you get a cool like Katava fight plus gold vault, and then one of them is necessary for like crafting, but it's also like a cool fight where you like time travel and shit. The theme is cool, but they need to like update them so that like when you drop a key, it's not just like right now the keys are worthless, right? So, these portal charms though, once again, constantly adding quality of life, right? Portal charms added this league, where you just get like a teleport straight to the boss. It's like I mean that makes the dungeons even more useless because you just go right to the boss. You skip all the cool stuff in the dungeon. So I'm sure they're working on it. It's just like they added so much content in this patch that I'm sure that it's just on the backlog. They'll do something with that. That could tie into like another expansion or another league maybe.